going on. Did you see what's going on? Obviously, you've seen what's going on in California. But the governor gave this creepy speech where he was talking about speculators coming in and talking about what to do with the land of all these homes that have been burnt down while it's still only 6% contained. And he did this little dance like, I've been talking with these, with the governor of Hawaii about what to do. We got some ideas. A speculator, we're gonna have some meetings. Like,
really?
Another major concern here is that Trump called up the National Guard without permission from Gavin Newsom, governor of California and man with strong opinions about the food and business class.
Imagine Joe Rogan tearing into politics like it's another bizarre podcast guest, while Desi Lydic turns every polished speech into satire. Together, they strip away the glossy sheen of Gavin Newsom, revealing a California where image trumps substance. Rogan sees a leader obsessed with camera angles, not results. Desi mocks him as a Hollywood understudy who stumbled into politics by mistake. Behind the slick hair and perfect smile lies a man more comfortable on a set than in a crisis. And when the spotlight fades, Californians are left with nothing but the bill for his performance.
This wouldn't be the first time someone went to LA looking for a role and couldn't find one. Hey, you listen to me, 1,700 troops. You keep following your...
Nobody wants President Newsom either. Nobody believes in that guy. That guy's a con man. Everything he did in California, from trying to mandate vaccines for kids to being caught public without a mask and lying about the fact that he was outdoors.
Yeah.
Nobody believes in that guy. He's just a politician, just a stone cold, narrative driven politician. Nobody thinks he's a real human. Whether you like Trump or not, whether you think he's corrupt or not, that's a human being. You know what that guy is. Same thing with RFK Jr. Whether you believe that he's correct about vaccines or whether you believe his policies would be effective, and that's a human being. With Newsom, you've got like this construct, this cardboard cutout of a person. I don't think people want that, but they might want it more than they want President.
California has always loved spectacle earthquake celebrities, and now Gavin Newsom. He struts in like a leading man, but his script is all cliches and recycled promises. Joe Rogan paints him as the poster child of performance politics, while Desi Lydic jokes he sells hair gel better than he sells policy. The state looks like a movie set, glossy on the outside, crumbling behind the scenes. Homeless encampments grow, businesses flee, and residents wonder, did they elect a governor or just cast the wrong actor in the wrong role?
Called up the National Guard without permission from Gavin Newsom, governor of California and man with strong opinions about the food and business class. But Newsom...
When Joe Rogan sizes up Gavin Newsom, he doesn't see a bold leader, he sees an infomercial. And Desi Lydic isn't far behind, turning his soundbites into late-night punchlines. Newsom promises transformation but delivers theatrics, big words, bigger smiles, and nothing left when the curtain falls. Rogan calls him a salesman peddling hope while the shelves are empty. Desi calls him a caricature, proof that California politics is more improved than governance. Together, they show a man desperate for applause in a state desperate for solutions.
California Governor Gavin Newsom has been facing major calls to resign over his appalling handling of the deadly California wildfires. And just to quickly recap, these were the most destructive wildfires the state has ever seen. More than 16,000 properties were destroyed. The cost of the fires is estimated to be more than $200 billion. And for businesses in LA County, the future is looking grim. It's projected businesses will continue to lose billions of dollars over the next 5 years.
Joe Rogan doesn't buy the Polish, he buys the reality. And with Gavin Newsom, the reality looks nothing like the trailer. While the governor brags about progress, Californians face sky-high costs, rising crime, and streets lined with tents. Desi Lydic skewers the contradictions, a man who speaks of compassion while his policies fail the vulnerable. Rogan strips away the acting, pointing to a leader more concerned with optics than outcomes. In their eyes, Newsom isn't governing, his auditioning. And the role he wants isn't governor of California. It's president of appearances.
Lobbing the unfathomable accusation that Trump might make decisions without fully thinking them through, but I'm sure Trump will be the bigger man here.
Earlier in the day, the president suggesting that it might be a good idea if his border czar, Tom Homan, arrested the California governor.
For Joe Rogan, politicians love playing characters, but none more than Gavin Newsom. He walks on stage like a reformer, but behind the script is a man rehearsing lines for the national spotlight. Desi Lydic takes it further, mocking him as California's answer to a daytime soap star, dramatic, polished, but never believable. The state's crises mount while Newsom delivers speeches like monologues long on flair, short on solutions. Rogan sees through the mask. Desi tears down the set, and together they reveal the ugly truth: California is the stage and its people are the props.
Down in Hawaii, you had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
The big smile on his face. Look at the little wiggle he does with his shoulders. Speculator, watch this. Talking to Josh. Look at this. Look at this little wiggle. It's excited about the possibilities of speculators coming in. And he's saying, we're move forward. We're going to move forward on that. These people lost their homes. A lot of those people don't even have fire insurance because the fire insurance pulled out of California. I think like 69% of fire insurance pulled out of California because they're like, this is too crazy. Like, you guys aren't doing jack shit to manage this. You're not clearing the
Joe Rogan loves calling out frauds, and Gavin Newsom fits the bill. He talks like a visionary but governs like a showrunner obsessed with ratings. Desi Lydic skewers him as the perfect blend of arrogance and emptiness, someone who could sell himself endlessly but never deliver. The homeless crisis deepens, businesses flee, families leave, and still Newsom smiles like it's opening night. Rogan sees a politician acting tough but collapsing under pressure. Desi sees a walking parody of leadership. Together they ask the obvious: when does California get a governor instead of a performance artist?
Californians have lost their homes and they're still suffering from the devastation. What does Gavin Newsom decide to do? Well, now is apparently the perfect time to try and boost his popularity and essentially promote himself. He's launched a podcast. I'll play you the trailer in just a moment, but take notice. Does the trailer that he shared with the world on X, does it even mention the most horrific fire catastrophe that occurred under his leadership, partly as a result of the decisions he was making, like cutting fire prevention? No, this is his chance to talk about his image, insisting that he's no ordinary politician.
The clash isn't policy, it's ego. Gavin Newsom thrives on camera angles while Donald Trump thrives on rally chants. And when their worlds collide, it's less debate, more reality TV crossover. Joe Rogan laughs at the spectacle, pointing out that both men are more obsessed with stagecraft than solutions. Desi Lydic twists it further, mocking Newsom as the understudy trying to outshine the headliner. Strip away the slogans, the theatrics and the lighting, and what's left isn't strength but two fragile egos desperate for applause.
Gavin Newsom talks about California. He's like, I'm very big on California, very bullish on California. Hey, they're all moving. The only reason why they don't move is because it's too difficult to move. It's too expensive to leave versus all the bullshit with all the permits and all that. It's too...
For Joe Rogan, debates aren't about who's right, they're about who can survive the circus. And when Gavin Newsom squares off with Donald Trump, the circus is in full swing. Newsom brings polish, Trump brings chaos, and neither brings substance. Desi Lydic turns the showdown into comedy, mocking Newsom's rehearsed answers and Trump's unhinged rants. What should be serious feels like bad improved. Rogan sees it as proof that politics isn't leadership anymore, it's entertainment. And California's governor wants a starring role on the biggest stage of all.
Their houses have been burned, all their childhood memorabilia, all the stuff for their kids, the photos, the fucking everything they have is gone. All heirlooms, their mother's wedding ring, that kind of shit. Everything's burnt to the ground. And this guy's like standing in front of all this stuff, and he's got a smile on his face, and he's talking about land use.
Joe Rogan isn't impressed with staged battles, and the Newsom versus Trump clash is exactly that. On one side, a governor who thinks being telegenic is a qualification. On the other, a former president addicted to spotlight meltdowns. Desi Lydic treats it like satire writes itself, one man obsessed with hair, the other obsessed with headlines. Together they expose the hollowness of modern politics, where debates are staged like TV specials, leaders play to their fans, and nobody solves the problems offstage.
Their houses have been burned, all their childhood memorabilia, all the stuff for their kids, the photos, the fucking everything they have is gone. All heirlooms, their mother's wedding ring, that kind of shit. Everything's burnt to the ground. And this guy's like standing in front of all this stuff, and he's got a smile on his face, and he's talking about land.
California sells the dream. Gavin Newsom sells the image. But Joe Rogan strips it down behind the billboards families can't afford rent. Behind the speeches, businesses pack up and leave. Desi Lydic cracks jokes about the governor's obsession with optics, but her punchlines cut deeper than policy critiques. Newsom doesn't govern, he markets. He doesn't solve, he stages. Rogan sees the frustration, Desi provides the satire, and together they reveal the truth: California's dream is cracking and Newsom is still polishing the set.
I went there. I had a great relationship with President Xi. We got along very well. And they treated me better than anybody's ever been treated. And I said, this air is good. Do you know they closed every factory 1 week before I got there from within 200 miles?
That's like what Gavin Newsom did when Xi Jinping came to San Francisco.
He cleaned it up.
He cleaned it up. He got rid of all
Isn't
the
that
homeless
terrible
people.
in a way to think, you know? He cleaned it up and then it became a pigsty.
Well, the dumbest thing is he said when your friends come by, when you have visitors, you clean up your house. Like, how about just keep your house clean?
Can you imagine?
For Joe Rogan, leadership means honesty. For Gavin Newsom, it means presentation. And that's where the disconnect lies. Californians don't need a politician rehearsing lines, they need someone addressing their crises. Desi Lydic turns the gap into comedy, painting Newsom as a man more committed to image than reality. Rising homelessness, crushing costs, failing systems, and yet Newsom smiles like he's auditioning for the White House. Rogan calls it a scam. Desi calls it satire. And both agree Californians deserve better than a governor lost in his own reflection.
Believe that he's correct about vaccines, or whether you believe his policies would be effective. And you know, that's a human being. With Newsom, you've got like this construct, this cardboard cutout of a person. I don't think people want that, but they might want it more than they want.
Joe Rogan thrives on exposing contradictions, and Gavin Newsom offers plenty. He calls himself a reformer but presides over decline. He speaks of compassion while ignoring tent cities. Desi Lydic sharpens the point, mocking him as a man more comfortable in makeup than in meetings. Newsom is less leader, more actor, delivering lines, waiting for applause, never facing the consequences. Rogan tears down the illusion, Desi adds the punchlines, and together they leave one clear message: California doesn't need another performance. It needs a governor.